Inflation is terrible. It's hurtful. It's frustrating. But is there any benefit of inflation? And the benefit is unexpected inflation causes a redistribution of wealth. Redistribution of wealth. And debtors benefit from that. How does it work? You're holding on to a certain amount of debt, but if there's an inflation, it is less heavy than before. To illustrate this, let's run the number and something that, again, you may want to use with your clients. So let's say a person takes out a $350,000 mortgage today at today's 7% mortgage rate. Principal and interest would be 2,329. Excluding property tax, excluding escrow and monthly payment and things like that, just mortgage interest payment, 2,329. Next year, same thing. Next year, same thing. Middle column, I'm using a household making $80,000 a year, $80,000 a year, which translates into monthly salary of $6,667. According to the data, currently people receiving W-2 statement salary, on average, their salary is rising 5%. 5% increase in salary is insufficient to catch up with inflation because grocery bills are rising at 8%, and overall consumer prices are rising at 8%. So 5% increase in salary does not mean improvement in standard of living. You're only trying to barely catch up. If you are receiving Social Security or your parents, they will receive 8% cost of living adjustment next year. So income is rising. It's not an improvement in standard of living, it's just trying to catch up with inflation. So when there is an inflation, people's income rise somewhat. So 5% growth this year, so income becomes $7,000 next year, and then you see on the middle column steadily rising, assuming that this is the case. We have high inflation for a prolonged period of time. And you go to the last column, how much is the mortgage debt payment in relation to people's income? And it's steadily diminished. So income is rising while debt payment remains the same. So it's becoming less heavy over time. So if we have a high inflationary period in upcoming years, this will be the table, something you want to relay to any potential clients. But let's do another scenario. Another scenario is following. What happens if inflation dies away? Inflation becomes a non-factor 2 years from now. Then mortgage rate would not be 7%. Mortgage rate would be 4% or 5%. And what do? You refinance into those low rates. So you win either way. If we have high inflation, you have this chart. And also the rents are constantly rising with inflation. So if you are a real estate investor, you are collecting higher rent. But if inflation disappears, people can always refinance into the lower rates. I purchased my home, or my wife and I purchased at 8.5%. That's the one best financial decision ever in our life because home values increase and later we refinance into lower interest rates. So if inflation persists, use this table. If inflation dies away, you can always refinance into low rates.